I have seen quite a few police officers who have acted in a way towards ICE that if a homeless person acted toward a police officer that way, he might get beaten to death. Case in point, Thomas Kelly. And we got a lot going on here, don't we? We got a lot of people who are having a call to arms. Well, of course they are. Of course they are. We're told to record this, right? Let's go all the way back to the very beginning with my situation. The very beginning. Let's go all the way back to 2016 in October when Natalie Bollinger decided that it was okay to pretend that I stalked her for doing what she asked. Now, that's not the major issue there. The major issue is that police did not treat the situation appropriately. They jumped to conclusions, made assumptions, and lied repeatedly. But that's okay. It's okay because I don't have a badge and he does, right? I'm not a pretty young woman, so I must be guilty. Because of my looks, because of my gender, I must be the bad guy. Now, I got to see a black police officer. Does his skin color matter? Well, for identification, yes, it does. If you're assaulted, were you assaulted by a black man or a white man? That does matter. So they don't go picking up somebody random who's homeless as their excuse. Oh, we caught the guy, no biggie. We'll just hold him for months without trial while he loses everything that he busted his ass for. And then eventually we'll get him to plead guilty to a crime he didn't commit because, well, he deserves freedom. So I saw this black officer. He's going to work, and a bunch of ICE agents are standing there in the way. And he treats them in a way that, well, no police officers would treat the homeless in such a way if the homeless were acting like that. Those ICE agents stood around watching the dude. He even bumped into a few of them and they didn't tackle his ass. I'd have been charged with assault against a police officer if one of those officers had actually bumped into me. Equality and all that. Now we got a bunch of liberals pissed off they don't have any guns to shoot back with. Not my problem. I identify sometimes as liberal, but that doesn't mean that I agree with every liberal policy or every liberal idiot. There's idiots in every group. Many of you don't like what I have to say. I don't care. I'm still going to say it. When you guys want to make excuses for our predators over and over again, our predators are the police, not ICE. The police. The police. I'm going to say that one more again for those of y'all who didn't get it the first couple times. The police. The police have enjoyed the freedom of doing these very things to the homeless for decades. And if those homeless people stand up to them, they get beaten down, possibly to death. And it's all okay, isn't it? It's really not. I'm looking something up right now. Let's pause it for a second. For over a year, I tried to get help with being able to record, with being able to take screenshots, all of the things that you guys take for granted. You guys go around and take pictures of the police. Let's see. Cops versus cameras, the killing of Kelly Thomas, and the power of new media. You got to sign to confirm your age to even watch it. Do you have to sign to confirm your age for any of this stuff going on? No, you don't. But to see a homeless man who was beaten to death by 7 police officers and 22 more police officers were involved in the case, and somehow it was okay that they beat Thomas Kelly to death. Sorry, Kelly Thomas. Sometimes it's written as Kelly Thomas, sometimes it's Thomas Kelly. I have to search it up every so often because even though this happens every day, the fact is that you don't record it. You look the other way. You go the other way. You allow it to happen. At least in Kelly Thomas's case, at least somebody tried to get the recordings and at least show them to the public, not that the public cared or ever will. Thomas Kelly was beaten to death by some cops in California. Beaten to death. Now, their excuse for beating this man to death were that he was schizophrenic. That somehow justifies the murder of Kelly Thomas. So my friends didn't want to teach me anything. They wanted cigarettes. They wanted money for food. They wanted money for gas. They wanted all sorts of things in exchange for helping me that they just didn't help. They just took advantage of me repeatedly. Oh, Sean, yeah, I'll help. Come on over. 3 days later, I've been there for 3 days waiting on these people to stop playing video games and actually get down to it. I went to Kayla Trujillo's, I want to say 4 or 5 times before Natalie was killed because she claimed she was going to help. And she never did. Finally, we planned it out so that we were going to try to turn in Kenneth and Leah Plunkett and try to set up the situation with being able to do a GoFundMe and also turn in Natalie Bollinger and her friends for what they'd been doing for over a year. And it was while I was there, that very day, that I got the phone call saying Natalie Bollinger was missing. Not that it matters, I'm a hobo. You guys go look in these Natalie Bollinger groups. You get to see a lot of hatred. You also get to see people who are claiming to be supportive, but they're not helping. What they're not doing is helping. Their opinions over and over and over again in some fucking Facebook group does not help me to turn in the actual evidence. Assault after assault after assault, but I'm homeless, so I don't matter. Doesn't matter that I've fought for other people's rights my entire life. What matters is that I don't matter. What matters is that I don't have money, so I'm not a human being to you. While you complain about spending, 3 hours out in the cold, and you talk about how tough you are, while there are homeless people who actually have to live in that, and you don't care about them. I'm not pissed off that you care about Somalis. I'm not pissed off that you care about Hispanics. I'm pissed off that you take part in the abuse against the homeless. You know, we get to listen to BLM and their racist bullshit where they want to tell us silence is violence. That's right, bitch. That is right. And every one of you motherfuckers who wants to say that shit to me, I'm going to throw it back in your fucking face. I'm going to throw it right back in your racist bitch-ass face. Well, you think it's okay for you to harm innocent people because they're white? A bunch of rich assholes do fucked up shit to you, so you take it out on poor white people? I made a video about how to get away with your racism. Is that video telling you to do those things? No, that video is exactly what I needed it to be. A fucking example. It's okay for you, but not okay for me? What's the difference here? I'm not pretending that black people can't be fucking victims. I'm not pretending that it's okay to beat the shit out of a black person for being black. I'm not saying it's okay, because it's not. It's also not right the other way. You know, the BLM community, matter of fact, the black community at large, has shown the homeless people that they don't care. The black community tells the homeless people, go to the back of the bus. We're fighting for black rights now. No, fuck you and fuck your rights. You don't deserve them because of how you treat the homeless. You don't deserve them. And then we get to see these police officers acting in a way because ICE has treated some of them the way that they treat all of the homeless. Now that officer, here's a word that you are not going to like, uppity. You don't like that word at all. Calling you uppity is about like calling you ignorant, isn't it? Except ignorant fits. There's lots of things that I'm ignorant about. If somebody tells me that I'm ignorant about those things, I'll fess up to it. You're right. I'm ignorant on that. But the rest of American society, regardless of color, sees that as an insult. No, calling somebody mentally ill is always an insult. Always. We got this black officer who wants to stand up to a bunch of ICE agents. Except that officer is throwing a tantrum. That's what it would be called if we acted like that when our rights are violated. But you give a shit about him. Fuck BLM. Fuck the police. Fuck ICE. Fuck the American government. Oh yeah, and same thing goes for the people. You chose this. You deserve this. That is as simple as it is. Because of racism from the black community, the black community is definitely taking it, aren't they? They're taking it up the backside because they're racist. Every single one of these groups is racist. Every one of them. Let's say they're not racist. Obviously, sexism isn't racism, but it's another bias, it's another prejudice. We get this narrative out of the black community. Oh, well, we need to fight for the black community first. No, bitch, we don't. We don't. I don't owe the black community for fucking victimizing me, bitch. I don't owe the black society for any of the assaults that I endured growing up. I don't owe black society for any of the people who assaulted me as an adult. I didn't deserve any of those assaults. But you will try to justify it by saying that white people can't be victims. Oh no, you can't be racist against white people. You have to be marginalized. Well, with all due respect, the homeless are more marginalized than all of you hate groups put together. And I do mean hate groups, not just BLM. You guys noticed that in this video, I'm very specifically speaking about the black community. The black community. The black community. Oh, you mean the racist pieces of shit that want to treat us like we owe them because we were born a particular skin color? No, I don't fucking owe you. I didn't own you, so I don't owe you. And putting on a badge doesn't make you any more of a person. It makes you less. The way that you pieces of shit look at ICE agents, that's the way that we look at you and the police. When I see a white person walking down the street, it's different from when I see a black person walking down the street. I grew up in the system with minorities. I see a black man walking down the street, I automatically feel more comfortable with the situation. Just because there's a black person there. Now, that's not something that I chose. It's a comfort thing. I didn't grow up with white people. My first taste of white society was when I was 15 years old. Being sent to Chapel, Nebraska, racist redneck town. We got to hear just 10 years ago how racism was dead in the United States. No, it's not. Obviously, half of the voting population, or thereabouts, voted for a man they knew to be racist. This includes black people who voted for him. It ain't just whites. But meanwhile, you don't care about American citizens. You care about people in houses. That's what you care about. ICE does this to homeless people, you look the other way, with the exception of Pine Ridge Reservation. At least the natives at Pine Ridge went to Minneapolis when they decided they were going to pick up 4 Native Americans from Pine Ridge and put them in a ICE detention center for the color of their skin. Yeah, I see this racism, and what the homeless go through is worse. You deserve this for what you do to the homeless. You deserve this for what you've done to white people. You get to see every day there are white people sticking up for your rights. They're sticking up for you specifically because of the color of your skin. There are many white people, but you want to blame Whitey. It's Whitey, 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 Whitey. Well, no, it's not. Whitey didn't do it to you. Your predator has a name. Waylon Lolatai is the name of one of my predators. Chris Kurth, another one of my predators. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of my predators who are white, like the majority of them. Primarily because most of the areas that I am in are predominantly white. You are more likely to get victimized by a white person in a white neighborhood than a black person in a white neighborhood, because the majority of the people in the area are white. Pretty simple. Now, when we've got police officers who just happen to be black, who happen to be getting a shitty attitude, who happen to be throwing a tantrum, who happen to be bumping into these ICE peoples, well, that certainly wouldn't fly if it was a homeless person doing it to that fucking pig, would it? If that black officer had a homeless person treat him the way that he was acting, the chances are pretty good he would have beaten or shot that homeless person. That homeless person would have been taken to jail and charged with felony assault against the police. You guys don't like it when I show you with examples what it actually feels like. Oh, God, no, it's the end of the world. Hell no. How dare Sean give us a taste of our own medicine? How dare Sean treat us in the way that we treat him? How dare Sean speak up when we assault him? How dare he post it in public when we threaten his life? How dare he? And you get to see all these folks through all these years, the advice of attorneys and lawyers and so on and so forth has been to record it. And what did I try to do before Natalie was killed? I tried to get my friends help so that they could teach me how to record it. And all they wanted to do was smoke my cigarettes, get fucked up on pot, get drunk, play video games, literally anything other than helping me. And that was a major contributor, which led directly to Natalie Bollinger's death. The complacency of people who were supposedly my friends made it so that the police didn't have to do their jobs. They were allowed to treat me like a delusional idiot, even though they knew otherwise. They sold a false narrative intentionally, and it didn't matter because none of my friends actually cared. They pretended to until it was time to do something. And that's how it was for the entire year before Natalie was killed. My friends would promise to help, and then they would procrastinate. And then they'd promise to help, and then they'd procrastinate. But every time that they promised to help, they wanted something. Every time. Oh, Sean, yeah, I'll help you. Fucking, why don't you bring some cigarettes with you? We're all out over here. Well, okay. I can do that. You know, some of those people had contributed cigarettes to me, too. It was not a problem. You know, it's basically just supplies at that point. But did any of those people come forward? No. No, not to the right people. Instead, they threw tantrums at me. Kayla Trujillo and many others. Because when they didn't keep their word and they procrastinated while I was assaulted over and over and over again, you damn right I told the truth. You damn right I spoke up about the situation. Would I do anything different if I had to do it all over again? Well, I have new information, so of course I would. But if I had the same information that I had at the time, I would have made exactly the same decisions. The reason for that is because I was making my decisions based on the information that I had. Unfortunately, we had a whole bunch of people that wanted to lie or intentionally misrepresent the situation, and we had a lot of people who were going out of their way to destroy evidence on my Facebook and cut me off from talking to my friends and family. Well, I was gonna take these cigarette butts and try to roll a full cigarette, but it don't look like that's gonna happen. Anyway, it's obvious that I will never be a human being to any of you. There's also the obvious situation with Claire. You know, there's a lot of stuff that she's not able to do. Some of it from taking care of her family, some of it from PTSD. It makes it so that she's not reliable. Most of the time, she doesn't call back, doesn't follow through. At least this time, we made some calls. Prior to this, we'd never made any calls together, which is the one thing that you need to do. Sorry, one of two things. Number one, never go in alone. And number two, always record it. And I followed those instructions to the best of my abilities, except that I didn't know how. My friends obviously knew how. They obviously could have taught me in 5 minutes how to do this shit. But video games and smoking pot were what was important to them. At least these two white people who were killed by ICE, who are American citizens, at least you give a shit about them, but of course they're not homeless. You disgusting fucks.